How you doing, YouTube? Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review. Holiday time. It's not necessarily a holiday beer. It's not a Christmas beer or whatever, but I don't know. Something about 750s with foil tops kind of just do it for me. So, yeah, we're going to be doing a Mikkeller beer. It is their, I assume, their Nelson Sauvin in Chardonnay barrels. Brut edition. Who knows? I just saw this on the shelf at a local kind of distributor bottle shop. And you know, I love Chardonnay barrel beers. Kind of curious about the brut aspect of it. And, yeah, it's Belgian based, so here we go. Like I said, Brut, Nelson Sauvin, Chardonnay barrel, Mikkeller beer. It is Belgian wild ale aged in Chardonnay barrels. There's a bunch of stuff I cannot read on the back because it's not in English, and that'd be that. Yeah, gold foiled top, you know, classic Mikkeller kind of labeling, done and done. So yeah, let's dive into this sucker. Like I said, we have company here, where I live, from out of state, and it's just before Christmas time. By the time this goes up, who knows when, and I was kind of in the mood for some 750s to kind of share with groups of people. So I picked this up. There's no date on it. It could be a bit older. But as it jumps out of this bottle, you know, you're talking about a Chardonnay barrel Belgian ale, even though it is hop-based with the Nelson Sauvin. You know, it could work. We'll see what's what. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done a Mikkeller beer, let alone a 750. So, what do we have there? A rich kind of apple cider kind of core to it. It's the rich orange in color. The head itself is mimics that, but in a lighter scale, and super rocky, like infinitely rocky. It's not dissipating all that quick, but it's kind of like deep reaching kind of bubbles throughout the whole thing. So there's a subtle haze to it. What does it look like from a distance? Apple cider, pretty much. Like I said, beer wise, it actually looks more like a middle of the country kind of Midwest kind of American IPA color wise with its haze and whatnot. So let's get a nose on her. Yeah, it has apple cider vinegar vibes throughout the whole thing. Yeah, that's a rich, like, kind of acidic apple cider vibe to it. Kind of like your Macintosh apple with a little bit of green apple involved. There's a soft kind of rich caramel to it, and like almost like a little bit of cinnamon to it. There's also that Venice character to it, so you're getting that white wine grape. That could be coming from the Chardonnay barrel, probably most likely. But also Nelson Sauvin can kind of give that kind of hot presence to you, too. So it could be coming from a couple different directions. It smells rich, sweet, definitely Venice, but at the same time it has that nice kind of tart, acidic, lactic kind of wild character to it. So I wouldn't even say wild, more sour than wild, but it has a wild character to it on top of that Chardonnay barrel. So there's a little bit of soft vanilla in there. Probably get that from that wine barrel oakiness. She smells beautiful, actually. Very multi-layered, very deep as far as what I'm getting off of. Here's the thing, though. They're calling out that Nelson Sauvin as a major part of the beer. I assume it's on the front of the label. Not getting a huge hop presence. It's more just rich, sweet, kind of tannic fruitiness as opposed to that kind of bittering hop component. So, yeah, it smells like a Belgian beer with a wine barrel involved with an extra component of that kind of rich white wine grapiness. Could be those hops at play, but let's just dive in, see what she's got. Cheers. I can drink that all day long. It's got a really nice, soft, rich caramel character to it. Like, really soft. So first thing I get, subtle acidity, nothing too crazy, enough to give you those subtle apple cider vinegar vibes, but nothing nearly even close to being like heartburn-inducing craziness. There's a nice wood component to it, too. You're getting those big oak kind of tannins, and they bring a bit of vanilla with it, but it doesn't get over the top. It doesn't get too drying, too impactful. There is a nice sweetness to it, so you kind of need that added component of that dry oakiness on top of that Nelson Sauvin hop. You are getting that bitterness from the hop, so it's a nice kind of balance between that sweetness and that kind of dryness from the oak and the actual bitterness from the hop itself. Yeah, and it has this spicy character to it. Like I said, I was kind of in a mood for a Christmas-y beer. I wouldn't actually call this a Christmassy beer, especially from the kind of the outskirts, looking at the beer and be like, okay, it's just a Chardonnay barrel wild ale. But it has this little bit of toasty kind of, it's not cinnamon, it's not nutmeg, it's almost like a cardamom kind of coriander kind of subtle spiciness that lends itself slightly to the kind of winter season that makes you want to think it's a little bit more kind of wintry than kind of summery. I like it. I think it's damn tasty. I think it's actually fantastic. It's weird beer because it has so many of the traits you would covet in a kind of dinner meal type beer. But it just goes past that and gives you enough of that spiciness, a little bit of that caramel, a nice richness, a bittering beyond what you typically get with something that you would accompany a meal with, to where it stands by itself. So it can definitely hold its own with a rich kind of decadent kind of 7-course meal, but at the same time I think this would be a really nice dessert beer at the same time, to where it could hold its own and give you enough to kind of cap the evening, if you will. Yeah, this is super tasty beer. Exactly what I wanted, and that's the thing. I had no idea about the beer. I didn't know what it was going to be or what it was going to taste like, but I was kind of hoping for something along these lines. Not exactly this. It's not like I guessed exactly what was going to be in a beer, but I kind of wanted something with the Belgian roots, but a little bit more oomph to it that had a character to it, and it's delivering that with spades. Tasty, delicious, drinkable. Has multi-layers, infinite depth to it, while at the same time you can drink this and not really think too much about it. It's one of those multi-tool beers that lends itself to just, let's drink some beers, have a good time, and let the beer be the conversation if it wants to be the conversation, while at the same time be in the background if that's what the beer wants to be too. So yeah, I dig it. I think it's delicious. The Chardonnay barrel comes through quite nice. It does have a nice sweetness to it, even though they're kind of throwing the whole brute thing on there. It is dry. I believe you're getting most of that from the oakiness, but it is dry, but there is a nice sweetness to it, so it's not just zero Plato craziness. Yeah, it's Belgian through and through with a whole lot of, I wouldn't even say like American pizzazz. It's like new school brewing pizzazz kind of thrown on the edges of it, but it doesn't get overpowering. It doesn't get annoying or in your face with all those bits and pieces. So yeah, tasty, delicious, multi-layered, just a really good beer. I have no idea the date too. I wish I knew. It was actually discounted. I think I picked this up for like $12, and it was price tag on it initially said 18. So when you see that, especially from the bottle shop that I picked it up from, chances are more times than not it is something that's been sitting around for a while. So I assume, this being close to Christmas 2018, this might have been an older beer, but it's held up well. So if you see this on the shelves and you're looking for something that is like Saison on steroids, which is the best way to put this, with a combination of the wine barrel and that nice rich maltiness. It's like almost like a beer de garde on steroids. If you're looking for something like that, probably really do you proper. Definitely a beer that would hold up well with a meal at the beginning, middle, or end, depending on what you're serving. Obviously, if it's all gentle stuff throughout, it might be a little overpowering, but tasty nonetheless, and complex enough to yammer on like I did, or delicious enough to just hold its own. So let's talk about it. It's one of the better Belgian-esque beers that I've had as of late. Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. It's hard to place it. I really wouldn't even know where to put this style-wise. Like I said, it's almost like a beer de garde on steroids, but tasty nonetheless. Value and availability. Like I said, I got it for $13 after taxes, so I'm Totally cool with that being in 750 format. And leave you with, if you like what we like this. If you like Belgian beers, if you like winter warmers, but you want something less. If you like Belgian beers, want something a little bit more. If you like Saison, want a little bit more. If you like Bière de Garde, it's kind of like flirting with all those directions. So if those are the kind of beers that turn you on, this is definitely do your proper. There you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully enjoying a nice little Mikkeller, Brut, Nelson Sauvin, Belgian, whatever. And hopefully see you next time. Cheers.